Great.
Do I need to restate or no?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, the recording will be available on the town's YouTube channel. I haven't been notified by anybody in advance who wants to record, but we do have another attendee who wishes to record, so the Needham Observer. Okay, so back to the agenda and beginning with public comment. Is there anyone who wishes to make a public comment?
No hands.
Okay. All right, second on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of our September meeting, September 9th. And any discussion?
Make the motion to approve the minutes.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay, so I think we need a roll call vote. Peter?
Yay. I'm out of shape. Sorry.
Let's send you back to town meeting. Avery?
Aye.
Rhonda?
Yes.
George?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So the minutes are approved. So we'll get to the heart of the agenda, which is to review and vote on the NHA Community Preservation Fund reimbursement requests. So we have them here in the packet. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that correct?
5.
So Cecilia, do you want to take us through them?
Yeah, so there are 5 reimbursement requests. They are all for similar work, it appears. Task orders 3 and 4 for the calendar year, July 1st through December 31st. So reimbursement request was number 8 on here, which will be is for $6,050 for work done July 1st through September 30th of 2023. And then number 9 is for $21,008.13 for work done January 1st through June 30th of 2023. Number 10 is $1,071.25 for the month of October of 23. Number 11 is $1,076.25. Those are different requests. It confused me at first because they are almost identical. But for work done in November of 2023, and then number 12 for $1,198.13 for work done in December of 2023. This is all under the annual town meeting from May 2019, Article 30, the modernization and redevelopment of affordable housing. If these are all approved tonight, that'll leave $17,397.41 in that article.
So do we have discussion? Do we want to go through the details of these?
If anyone has any questions, they all have backup documentation, they all have proof of payment. As requested, the original invoices from the Cambridge Housing Authority are all included. And then I've gone through and confirmed the amounts. Some of this articles is at 50% reimbursement, so all of the invoices are for twice the amount of the reimbursement.
Okay,
So, Madam Chair, can I?
yes,
All
please.
right, so I've seen we've gone through the backup, and so I guess first, I just have a general question, which is, can you refresh my memory what tasks 3 and 4 are? Because I think we reviewed that in a prior request.
Yeah, one of them is addresses the strategy for the Linden's Chambers redevelopment, and the other one addresses the strategy for the Seabeds and Cook redevelopment.
Okay. So I think, so my overall concern is that is there a deliverable that for that year? This is basically a year's worth of work, right? These are a year's time slips. And it's described just with one description, which is general. It looks like Needham construction, general development. I did, in fairness, I kind of raised this to the last request, which was that's what we had for a time slip entry. So is there something that, was there some product within that period of time?
Well, there
What
are
is it?
numerous products.
Okay. Can we hear that? Cause we're doing oversight and we're authorizing reimbursement. And all we have is one time entry basically for the entire year that says needed construction, general development. So if we just have some sense of what it was that they spent their time on.
Well, probably can't do that to your satisfaction off the top of my head
Okay,
with no notice as a general
I-
request.
and I apologize for that. Because I apologize for that. I'm not trying to put anyone in an uncomfortable position, but that's kind of a concern that I have. I'm sure that there's, you know, it puts us in an awkward position though to approve something where we just don't have a deliverable in front of us or a description actually of what the work was that was done during that entire year period. So, I mean, and I raised that in our last request, it was almost identical to this, and I said, well, I have a concern about this, but this is a relatively small amount, so I'm not gonna stick with it at this point.
Cheryl, would you like to?
Yeah, so what we could do is, if it's easier for you, I mean, we've met at least twice a week. For about a year to discuss the project moving forward. We could send you a copy of our agendas if that would help, so you could see what we're discussing and how much time we spent on those conversations, if that will help, but it has been a great deal of work.
I have no doubt about that. I don't.
Which are tied into other types of deliverables such as, reimbursements, et cetera. But it's been a great deal of work with an extremely intelligent group of people that have led us to this point where we are at now. But if it's helpful to you, we can send you copies of our agenda. We have an agenda every week when we meet and what we discuss, and that does outline deliverables and task orders and things that need to happen within a time certain.
So what I would recollect and I don't have a very good recollection sometimes because there's so much going on right now. And we have not been focused on, this meeting or satisfying this committee for several months. But what I recollect is that last time we had this conversation, but you can help me out with my recollection, is we sort of came to the conclusion that that oversight is being performed by the Needham Housing Authority Board. And then to that end, in fact, we were receiving in the board a monthly detailed report, probably of exactly what you would be looking for if you were a board member of the Housing Authority Board. And and tell me if I'm wrong or whether I forgot to do something, but I think we came to the conclusion, hey, why don't we just send you copies of those monthly reports that we received for back 3 years, all of them, they're all public documents that are in the Needham board packet and describe, and I think more than adequate detail what you were, not that you're really concerned that anything wrong is going on, but the fiduciary duty that's being exercised by this committee, in addition to that being exercised by others, would you be satisfied? Maybe at post facto tonight, did I send those out or not? Or am I just imagining this whole conversation here?
No, I think your recollection is correct, because I raised that as an issue,
Yeah.
and then there's a
I thought
discussion
I
about a
sent 'em-
resolution about how to go forward, and then.
I thought I forwarded those reports last time, but I could have forgotten. Because, as you pointed out, you did raise it last time.
Katie, did you?
And I could be mistaken, so you're testing my memory too, so I might, I'm not certain what the result of that was in my, do you happen to know, Cindy, went on the
Um,
outside?
I forward everything that I received for this committee, so I don't remember receiving those, but I guess I just want to make sure we're all clear on what's being expected, because I guess, are you?
So
just
all
going
I'm
back and
saying,
sending-
I'm saying these reports by task order. Say, the Cambridge Housing, so last month, we did this XYZ for you.
I see. That's
And
okay.
in like 2 or 3 pages of detail.
Yeah.
Which, aren't sort of big picture kind of deliverables, but they're, sort of progress reports. And that would correspond to exactly the time period we're talking about here. And you can say, so this invoice is for these professional services and hours. And this is what they reported they were doing during those hours. Am I now satisfied as a member of T-Chalk that, this is a, appropriate use of funding?
I have not received those, but they sound helpful to me, but
I
yeah.
could have forgotten
Yeah,
to send it, but I
absolutely.
thought we resolved it. That I just vaguely remember that.
That was the resolution. You refreshed my memory, but we haven't gotten those documents. And I apologize. I had this for a few days. I was busy with my day job. I apologize. And I looked at it today, so I really do apologize.
So I imagine tomorrow, with a less than 30 minutes of time, those could be dredged up. They're received monthly. They're all in a file somewhere. They're, and they're also in our board packets, but we could pull out just the reports that went into the board packets and send you a PDF with going all the way back to maybe the beginning of article, whatever our first article is there. This one we're talking about right now, the original article, and everybody can just put that in a 3-ring binder and, keep that as a record of what
I
happened.
mean, I think it would be, just to make it easy for us to understand, I think it would be great to align them with the time periods that,
Well, they're monthly reports, so they're absolutely, unless they align, actually, they don't align exactly because they align with the board monthly, board packet cycle, which is slightly, shifted. But I think it would fully satisfy any concern anybody had as to what they were doing. They were not, they were doing worthy things that fulfilled the purpose of the grant that we received.
so maybe for efficiency purposes, the next one you do would be to cover these months, so that's July, September.
It's January through December of 2023.
I'm gonna just send them, I'm
Yeah.
gonna send them
Yeah,
all
yeah.
to you, and then people can, will be completely caught up. You'll be, you'll have that as part of the overall record. And then we still do this. So now we have our new developer partner on board, and guess what they do every month for the board? They submit a monthly report as to what they've done in the previous month. We've only got one of them at this point because they've only been on board a few weeks, but yeah.
Yeah, no, so. I guess
Because they will continue, excuse me, they will continue to be spending money from the pre-development, there's still $1 million left, and we're almost finished spending up the ARPA funds. So we'll be coming back to this committee with some additional spending of that most recent grant for the pre-development here.
Yeah, all I'm suggesting is that we have them so that we can easily tie them to the specific, and that just isn't kind of one big thing that's undifferentiated with these, and, we would have to spend time tying them together. So if it could be very clear to us what it relates to, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
So how do we feel about this? Are we feeling, and I'll throw it out to the Zoom folks too, are we feeling comfortable voting on this now in the absence of that, knowing that it would come, or would we want to postpone? We're meeting in a month. Just open that up for discussion.
If I could make a suggestion,
Yes, please.
I think that all we're looking for is some kind of documentation and backup, and I think what we could do is approve the expenditure of these funds so that they can get in the process of payment, with the understanding that the monthly reports would be sent out within a certain period of time, like within the next week. And I don't believe that are these funds coming from the town's funds or from grants? Or both?
I think it's from the town, is it not?
These are from the CPC.
CPC
funding.
funds.
Okay, then you could understand that they're not gonna get paid for the next few weeks anyway. So if there's an issue that someone finds, then they could raise that issue and stop the check. But generally speaking, that's not gonna happen. So what I would suggest is we approve the funds with the understanding that those documents will be forwarded to us within 7 days or something like that. And that way the process can move along. These are old bills for sure.
They are very old. Thoughts, discussion from others? Do we like this idea?
Yeah, that sounds fine to me too. I guess, Reg, are we gonna still be paying or you, I guess it's not me, Cambridge Housing Authority, or after this, and how much longer are they
So,
involved?
if you look at pretty page 7, and you look at, just for reference here, you'll see that, there is the 241,052 seabeds cooked
Sorry, Rich, I'm
preservation.
not sure what page 7.
Oh, I'm sorry, the packet is got page 7 on the packet, yeah.
Okay, that thing.
Yeah.
All right. Is that mine?
So the May 23 CPA funding grant of 241,052. That's being spent gradually because it's for only a portion of the seabeds and Cook design process, and also behind submitting invoices to you there. So Cambridge Housing Authority is still, Rhonda, helping out with that one. But they are not doing anything for Linden Chambers right now. That's now been passed off completely to the Peabody AHSC team. And of course, the fourth grant, the $5.5 million, they don't have anything, Cambridge does not have anything to do with that. Now, that will be, again, through the new developer team. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think it's I will say, I think it's very odd that they just put in Needham Housing Authority, Needham Development on. I've never seen a consultant not sort of describe what they do in their billing. That, it's just, and it's a lot of small numbers of hours, like it's very chopped up. So I think, just for your benefit, if you keep going, it's not a bad thing to having somehow having them identify where they're putting their hours. But that's up to you. But I'm just saying it might be helpful for you as well to have it be a little bit clearer.
Okay.
But that's just that's not having anything to do with not paying it. I'm just saying, when, it, just for your sake, it might be helpful for you to have them put a little bit more effort into saying that when they're spending half an hour, 50 minutes or whatever it is, and having a corresponding activity that they're doing, that they identify. But that's just, I think if you feel like you've gotten the work out of them and they're giving you the deliverables, at this point it's old and we should pay it. But I think, just, going forward, it's just an easier way to track what they're doing. And it's typical. Like, I'm just saying, I've never seen a bill this vague.
Right. There needs to be enough definition on the invoice that identifies why we should pay that bill.
Yeah, but
That's a reasonable request.
and I'm saying it for you, your benefit as much as ours, just
But when you're saying you mean the housing.
the housing authority,
Absolutely.
you know. The housing authority should be looking for a little bit more in detail when, I mean, especially this is like crazy. It's like, an hour here, 40 minutes here, 2 hours, 50, half an hour. It's very, very chopped up. So
Remember, they're not usually in the business of consulting. So
well,
if
I
you-
think they are actually. I think they do a
Well-
lot, don't they, Reg?
No, that's actually, I wasn't going to say that comment, in a public meeting. We would never be, who made that comment anyway? It was George?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just mindful this is a public meeting. I don't want to be appropriately critical here, but they are not a private sector developer, and they do have dimensions to them that I've been in consulting myself 35 or 40 years. I've delivered decades of invoices to clients, and there's some best practices that grow up when you live in that world. And but on the other hand, the town and the Needham Housing Authority would never be able to be in the position we are today, or be able to deliver the report that we're going to be able to deliver in the next quarterly meeting, which is not on the agenda for today, where we are, going to be able to redevelop the street part of our Linden Chambers property, and somehow do all this and get all this money in a fashion that, the town is really only picking up about 10% of the tab, and the rest of the money is coming from non-Needham taxpayers. So I think the 90% full glass of water is the fact of where we happen to be here, and not that a year or two or three ago, we who were working on a daily basis with these people and did not need that detail in the invoices, because we knew exactly what they were doing every single day, overlooked the need to have this a year or two later in order to be, fulfill this process that we're going through right now.
But don't diminish the role of this committee.
I didn't. I said I was trying to fulfill the role of the committee by getting them the information they need. It would be helpful to literally even have 2 hours of advance notice, and we could have absolutely brought copies in of these reports.
Again, but that was something that you understood you were gonna give to us anyway, so, I mean, I'm taking.
I thought I did.
So
Okay.
anyway,
Let's just-
we can focus on it going forward
Yes,
basis. So, George made a suggestion. Any other comments on George's suggestion? If not, maybe George, would you like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we proceed with the approval of the requested funds with the understanding that the monthly reports that were referred to are submitted to the committee within a reasonable period of time. That could be a week if you'd like to add that in, or not. We could
Is
just,
week doable?
That's fine, yeah.
We could say 1 week.
I second.
Okay, so we'll do a roll call. Peter,
aye,
Rhonda?
Aye.
Avery,
Aye.
George,
aye,
and the chair votes aye. So they're approved. We'll look forward to seeing the documentation within a week, if that is doable. And I guess on the going forward basis, especially with the new vendor, now they're maybe better equipped, all the way along to provide a more detailed invoice. Which would be helpful, especially as we're eventually going to get into the $4.5 million. So it would be helpful to establish those practices for the future.
I just wanted to mention, I was looking back at some of our previous packets just to see if any additional level of detail was included. It looks like the hourly sheet is set up the same way, where it's just the project code, but there's almost a cover sheet, how the invoice is presented, in addition to the, more quote unquote vague project presentation, where it does break it out in a little bit more detail. So it's it's separate from the billable hours. So I don't know if we're looking to have those, united, but there has been some previous documentation that has included just a little bit more detail. Just wanted to, you know, confirm that.
That's helpful. Helpful to know. So that. Well, I'm down to here. But I believe that is all that was on our agenda. We have a next meeting, December 9th. Here at 6 o'clock, and at that meeting, we will have a more full update from you guys on what is going on. So make sure that's on your calendars. And any other discussion? So welcome a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Okay. Peter,
Aye.
Rhonda,
Aye.
Avery,
Aye, thank you.
George,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. So thank you to everyone, and we will see you guys in 4 weeks. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You.